being between the ages of 0 to 17 comes with many struggles that a lot of people, as far as I'm concerned, don't really talk about. Which is why me, being the good Samaritan that I am, I'm gonna be talking about these so-called struggles mainly due to the reason that I turned 18 in 2 months. With that said, the way we're gonna be breaking this down is we're going to literally talk about each age between 0 all the way through 17. So make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video, because even if I do pass by your age, you're gonna wanna have an idea of what your future years will be like as well. Now, obviously starting with the first age, we have 0. All right, come on, there's literally nothing for me to say about this. Like, bro, you haven't even had a breath of fresh air yet. All right, now for age 1, I mean, yeah, you're finally at the womb, but at what cost? You're literally not conscious. But I'd say the best thing around this age, though, is that you've officially taken a lap around the sun, which honestly is probably the biggest feat a 1-year-old could have. Oh, and walking. Almost forgot about that, my fault. All right, you're officially 2 years old and you should be able to talk by now. Chances are between this point and the age of 4, you're probably blurring out cuss words like fuck, shit, ass, bitch, etc, etc. And honestly, this phase isn't even a struggle, to be honest. It's really just funny to me. Now, between ages 3 and 4, you're really going through your toddler years, which in my opinion is the second to worst stage in your life, because like, bro, you literally have to go through a whole learning process of how to function as a basic human. Gotta learn things like how to poop, piss, eat, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years time vaping gets added to that list. All right, look at that. You're finally out of your toddler years and now you're going through elementary school like a big boy now. Look at you. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I've sat here for 20 minutes thinking of a flaw being in elementary school, but to be real, these years of your life are seriously the best years you could have, as long as you weren't fat, like me. All right, now to finally talk about the horrific struggles about the ages from 12 to 15, I think the first thing that deserves a mention is, well, you can't drive, which in my opinion is the worst thing about being in middle school. This is honestly the age when you start hanging out with friends for real. But every time you want to leave the house or go do something outside, you literally have to ask your parents for permission every single time. Well, you either gotta ask them or your older sibling for a ride. And if you do ask your older sibling for a ride, they gotta ask your parents for permission to take you, which means making plans to leave the house is just a huge pain at this age. But another thing that I wanted to point out about the pain of going through your first teenage years is mentally preparing for high school. Now, this might just be me yapping, but I personally thought high school was going to be some animal kingdom with a bunch of crackheads running around, but in reality, nobody gives a fuck about you or anything you do. And this is truly a fact. For anyone that isn't in high school, go ahead and ask someone you know. Whatever you do though, if you are in middle school, make sure you run across the hallways when you go to lunch. People will really have mad respect for you, bro, I'm telling you. Now, usually in middle school is kind of when people start to realize a lot of things about the world, and they kind of grow out of that rainbow fairies phase thinking shit is sweet in this world. What I mean by this is that they start finding out that there are murderers, EDPs, and a lot of just sick, immoral people in this world that you really will have to start watching out for when you go through your future stages of life. Not only that, but this phase of your life is really going to be heavily controlled by the friend group you solidify yourself with. Because if you surround yourself with people who vape, smoke, drink, party, etc, 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 you're gonna feel like you're out of place and that you're weird and don't fit in. But the truth is, you're a child and should not be thinking about doing none of that whatsoever. Also, don't surround yourself with people who don't like you or constantly make fun of you, because you're really gonna have a hard time with your self-esteem and confidence, and trust me, that shit's gonna carry over to your later teens to early adult years, and sometimes as far as the rest of your life. Also, image, for some reason, is also a really big part during this time in your life, in the sense that if you're fat, you're automatically done for. Like, you literally can't defend yourself in an argument. And anytime during science class, if there is anything mentioned about the human body or the word weight or fat, best believe the whole class will be looking at your ass laughing. Sometimes even the teacher, bro. Sorry, I'm in tears. Just old memories coming back to me, man. Now, something that you absolutely want to do to make new friends is I want you to walk up to someone and say to them, "Hi, want to be friends? My dad has lots of candy, so I'm sure we'd click so fast. He even asked kids to come in his van for some because he has a whole pile of them in the back. So, what do you say? Friends?" Trust me, this works every time. Now, the ages you've all been waiting for. All right, now listen, I'm gonna need you to lock in. It's time for the last 2 years before finally becoming an adult. 16 and 17. Now, obviously, first off, we have 16. The age of 16, in my opinion, is when your teenage years truly begin. Not only can you finally drive legally, but you should start receiving a little bit of freedom from your parents. This is the age where you start going on those late 1 to 2 a.m. drives with your friends. You go to a gas station for some snacks, apply some music at 100 decibels going down the neighborhood at 300 miles an hour. And this is truly the age where you should start to mature a little bit and grow out of that freshman and beginner sophomore level mindset, and you start making grown decisions. This is the age where, if you're athletic, you start playing varsity for whatever sport you're in, and for the most part, in my eyes, this is really the time where you start shaping yourself out to be the man you're gonna be for the rest of your life. Well, at least I hope so. But for real though, as a 16-year-old, this will put a lot of pressure on you. Not only will you have to worry about school, sports, potentially a job, a side hustle or a business, YouTube, the gym, or socializing and actually touching some grass. And even nowadays, some people stay stressed over keeping a social media presence to maintain a false image that they want to portray to their peers, but in reality, it's not actually who they are. And even with all that being said, if you have a bad household, that's just another thing you gotta worry about as well, in which a lot of people when they go home have to deal with. Like imagine going through everything I just listed, then once you get home to what is supposed to be your resting place, you have to deal with more and more problems, which honestly is just not fair to the kids who are 16. And to top all of that off, they also have to worry about their future and figuring out what they want to do with their life. I mean, there is a reason why the suicide rate in teens is rising higher and higher these days. You know, me personally, I've been blessed to find a passion that's taken a long 8 months to finally start working out a little bit, and I have you guys to thank for that along with OneCloud9. But for the vast majority of people who are around my age, if you ask them what they want to do as a career in their future, they will literally shrug their shoulders and tell you they don't know, which is genuinely scary. Our generation is literally going to be the people who take over this country along with the rest of the world, yet the future president of 2050 is literally yelling out hard R's to people on Call of Duty right now as I'm saying this. Bro, what am I talking about right now? Anyways, that's enough with that sentimental shit. Chop, back to the jokes. Now moving on to the next and final age is my age, 17/senior year. Now this, in my humble opinion, is the most stressful age of your life, or maybe the best. To start this off, I'm gonna talk about why it's the most stressful. First of all, it's officially your last legal year of being a kid, which means after this, that's it. Those 13 to 14 years of school all led up to this year, and this is where it's gonna be make or break for a lot of kids. Whatever kind of person you are when you close out this year is potentially how you're gonna be for the rest of your life, bro. And what most people like to do during this year is do some of the most dumbest shit you could possibly think of, because once your age turns from a 1.7 to a 1.8, you can't do things like messing around in Walmarts and Targets, kicking balls into ceilings and things like that, slapping the shit out of that one freshman who's been pissing you off all year, or for some of you weird ass seniors out there, mess with freshmen. Of course, I mean this legally. There are some weird ass niggas out there who don't care and would risk it all. To all of those people, I hope you share a cell right next to EDP because you're sick, bro. And as I say this, there is quite a few names I could start airing out from my school, but for time and respect's sake, I'm gonna just keep it to myself for now. But this last year in your life is mainly stressful because not only is this make or break for a lot of people, but this is really when life starts to hit you at 150 miles per hour. You will realize that that friend group that you've been friends with for 5+ years will inevitably drift apart. That relationship you thought would last till marriage will probably end 1 month into the start of college, and things will really just start to clear up. What I mean by this is high school, in my opinion, isn't the time to try and fit in and bump elbows with everybody you can. You should really take this time to lock in on yourself and focus on finding what you like taking martial arts classes, making beats, making music, making clothes. Hell, try YouTube. You'd be surprised. One way or another, don't waste your time while you're in this bitch, because if you do, you will regret it. I promise you. Stop smoking those lame ass blunts and tighten up, bro. But with all that being said, I'm gonna leave it off at that note. This video took a couple different directions than I thought it would, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm kind of happy it did. Thank you guys so much for all of your late support. That shit really does mean a lot, man. And as you can see, this video is clearly different from my other videos. Like, come on, I'm not about to milk black themed content forever, bro. I mean, what kind of YouTuber would I be if I did? If you did happen to make it this far in the video, make sure you like and subscribe for future uploads, because as Michael Jackson said in my last video,
Petranos wanted to let me know that he genuinely appreciates all of you and he promises to be more consistent.
Exactly, Michael. That's right. I'm gonna be more consistent. But yeah, though, that's all for me. Thank y'all again, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.